For aircraft operated under Part 91, which of the following records must be retained for at least 1 year or until the work is repeated or superseded? Records of maintenance, alterations, preventive maintenance, 100-hour, annual, and progressive inspections. Who is responsible for upkeep of the required maintenance records for an aircraft? The aircraft owner. During an annual inspection, if a defect is found which makes the aircraft unairworthy, the person disapproving must provide a written notice of the defect to the owner. Which maintenance record entry best describes the action taken for a 0.125-inch deep dent in a straight section of 1.5-inch aluminum alloy tubing? Dented section removed and replaced with identical new tubing flared to 35 degrees. If work performed on an aircraft has been done satisfactorily, the signature of an authorized person on the maintenance record for maintenance or alterations performed constitutes approval for return to service only for the work performed. Who is responsible for making the entry in the maintenance records after an annual, 100-hour, or progressive inspection? The person approving or disapproving for return or service. What is the status of data used as a basis for approving major repairs or alterations for return to service? Data must be FAA approved prior to its use for that purpose. What is ATA I-Spec 2200? A standardized electronic documentation for aircraft models. A person installing a product, part, or appliance on a type certificate product must make certain that the item's records document what type of statement the product, part, or material meets FAA airworthiness standards. Which aircraft record entry best describes a repair of a dent in a tubular steel structure dented at a cluster? Welded a reinforcing plate over the dented area. What is the means by which the FAA notifies aircraft owners and other interested persons of unsafe conditions and prescribes the conditions under which the product may continue to be operated? Airworthiness directives. If more space is needed for a work description entered on an FAA Form 337, what information should be included on the attached sheets, in addition to the rest of the work description? Aircraft nationality and registration mark, and the date the work was accomplished. Which is an appliance major repair? Overhaul of a hydraulic pressure pump. After a mechanic holding an airframe and power plant rating completes a 100-hour inspection, what action is required before the aircraft is returned to service? Make the proper entries in the aircraft's maintenance record. For aircraft operated under Part 91, when is aircraft total time required to be recorded in aircraft maintenance records? After satisfactorily completing inspections. An aircraft was not approved for return to service after an annual inspection and the owner wanted to fly the aircraft to another maintenance base. Which statement is correct? The owner must obtain a special flight permit. Where is the record of compliance with airworthiness directives or manufacturer's service bulletins normally indicated? Aircraft maintenance records. For aircraft operated under Part 91, which of the following records must be retained and transferred with the aircraft when it's sold? Records of the current status of applicable ADs and date and time when recurring ADs are next due. In order to reconstruct lost or destroy aircraft maintenance records, what is necessary to establish? The total time in service of the airframe. An aircraft owner was provided a list of discrepancies on an aircraft that was not approved for return to service after an annual inspection. Which of the following statements is true concerning who may correct the discrepancies? An appropriately rated mechanic. A certified mechanic without an inspection authorization who signs the appropriated block on FAA Form 337 is doing what? Certifying that the work was done in accordance with the requirements of the 14 CFR Bar 43. When a 100-hour inspection is completed, if separated maintenance records for the airframe, power plant, and propellers are maintained, where is the entry for the inspection recorded? Is in the record. Where should you find this entry? Remove right wing from aircraft and remove skin from outer 6 feet. Repair booklet spar 49 inches from the tip in accordance with Figure 8 in the manufacturer's structure repair manual number 28-1. Is in the FAA Form 337. What is the appropriated action concerning minor repairs performed on a certified aircraft? Is entries must be made in the aircraft maintenance record. After making a certain repair to an aircraft engine that is to be returned to service, an FAA Form 337 is prepared. How many copies are required and what is the disposition of the complete forms? 2. 1 copy for the aircraft owner and 1 copy for the FAA. Which statement is true regarding the use of a FAA Form 337? FAA Form 337 is not authorized for use with other than U.S. registered aircraft. For aircraft operated under Part 91, what difference is there, if any, between the record entry requirements for maintenance, example, repair or alteration, and the record entry requirements for inspection, beyond the description of the work performed and the type and extent of inspection? Aircraft total time is required to be included only in the inspection entry. When work is performed on an aircraft that necessitates the use of FAA Form 337, who should prepare the form? The person who performs or supervises the work. When approving for return to service after maintenance or alteration, the approving person must enter in the maintenance record of the aircraft a description or reference to acceptable data of work performed, date of completion, the name of the person performing the work, if someone else, signature, certificate number, and kind of certificate held. An FAA Form 337 is used to record and document major repairs and major alterations. Each person performing an annual or 100-hour inspection shall use a checklist that contains at least those items in the appendix of 14 CFR Part 43. Which aircraft record entry is the best description of the replacement of several damaged helicoils in a casting? 8 1 1/4 20-inch standard helicoils were replaced. The damaged inserts were extracted, the tapered holes caged, then new inserts installed and tangs removed. Which of the following may a certified airframe and power plant mechanic perform on aircraft and approved for return to service? A 100-hour inspection and a progressive inspection under specified circumstances. Which maintenance record entry best describes the action taken for a control cable showing approximately 20% wear on several of the individual outer wires at a fair lead? Wear within acceptable limits, repair not necessary. When a discrepancy list is provided to an aircraft owner or operator after an inspection, it says in effect that Except for these discrepancies, the item inspected is airworthy, which statement is true regarding the requirements for maintenance record format. Any format that provides record continuity and includes the required information may be used. Which maintenance action is an airframe major repair? The repair of portion of skin sheets by making additional seams.